Hi, good morning. Today we are going to start our next session, section 44. Okay. So here also we are going to discuss one example of an invariant space. Now what do you mean by an invariant subspace? Let V be a vector space and T be a linear operator on V and W is a subspace of V. Then W is called invariant under T if TW is contained in W. Okay, that means for alpha belongs to W, T alpha must be in W. Now moving to our next example. Let T be any linear operator on a finite dimensional space V. Okay, and let W be a subspace spanned by all characteristic vectors of T. W is a subspace spanned by all characteristic vectors of T. Then the result says that then W is invariant under T. Okay. Now suppose C1, C2, etc. Ck be distinct characteristic values of T. For each I, let Wi be the space of characteristic vectors associated with the characteristic value Ci. Then the characteristic polynomial of Tw is of this form g equal to x minus c1 e raised to 1 x minus c2 e raised to 2 etc x minus ck e raised to k where ei equal to dimension of wi. Okay. Once again I am repeating, let T be a linear operator on V, clear, and W is the subspace spanned by all characteristic vectors of T. Then we have to prove W is invariant under T. Okay. And suppose C1, C2, etc. Ck be the distinct characteristic values of T. Okay, there may be cases that characteristic polynomial have same root, that may be root may be repeating. Suppose some characteristic polynomial is of this form x minus 2 cube. Then what about the characteristic root 2 repeated 3 times? But the distinct characteristic value, there is only one distinct characteristic value. Okay, suppose characteristic polynomial is of this form, some x2 cube x minus 3 x minus 4. So distinct characteristic values are 2, 3, 4. But it is actually, it is 2, 2, 2, 3, 4. These are the characteristic values. Okay. And that let Wi be the characteristic space associated with the characteristic value Ci. Then characteristic polynomial for Tw is of this form. Okay, we have to prove this one. And Ei where Ei equal to dimension of Wi. Okay. So moving to the proof, given that C1, C2, etc. Ck be distinct characteristic values of T for each I and that Wi be the space of characteristic vectors associated with the characteristic value Ci. Okay. And let Bi be an ordered basis for Wi. We have one result. Okay. If Bi is this Wi is the space, characteristic space associated with the characteristic value Ci, then we have one result. If Wi is the space, characteristic space associated with the characteristic value Ci, then if you consider B equal to B1, B2, etc. Bk, then this is a ordered basis for W, where W is equal to W1 plus W2 plus etc. plus Wk. We have proved this. If W is equal to W1 plus W2 plus etc. plus Wk, then B equal to B1, B2 etc. Bk is an ordered basis for this space W also, or dimension of W is equal to dimension of W1 plus dimension of W2 plus etc. plus Wk. Okay. What is our W? W is the space spanned by all characteristic vectors of T. Space, what is the subspace spanned by all characteristic vectors of T mean? It is a linear combination of characteristic vectors. That means it is actually the elements of Wi. Wi is the space of all characteristic vectors, and W is the space spanned by all characteristics. That means W is equal to W1 plus W2 plus etc. plus Wk. Okay, clear? Therefore, we have this result. If if you consider B equal to B1, B2, etc., Bk, then it is an ordered basis for W, and dimension of W equal to dimension of W1 plus dimension of W2 plus etc. plus dimension of Wk. We have this result in the portion diagonalization. Okay, I think it is in 6.3 annihilating polynomial part. Okay. Now, let B dash is equal to alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha r. We are considering another basis B dash equal to alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha r. So that the first few alphas are from B1. Okay. And the next few from this B2. Okay. B1 is an ordered basis for Wi. Okay. And B2 is an ordered basis for W2. Okay, and so on. Okay, clearly all elements of B dash are characteristic vectors corresponding to the some characteristic value. Okay, so T alpha is equal to Ti alpha I varies from 1 to etc. R, where Ti's are characteristic values. Now, what is Ti? These alpha 1, some alpha is from W1. Okay, so suppose some alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3 is from W1. Then what happens? By definition, this is equal to T alpha equal to some Ti alpha I, but alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. from W1. W1 means characteristic value corresponding to the the elements of W1 are characteristic vectors corresponding to the characteristic value C1. Therefore, T alpha 1 is equal to C1 alpha 1, T alpha 2 is equal to C1 alpha 2, and T alpha 3 is equal to C1 alpha 3. Okay. So, T alpha is equal to Ti alpha I varies from 1 to etc. R, where T1, T2, etc. Tr is equal to C1, C2, etc. C1, C1, etc. This repeated, we are choosing this as a dimension of Ci repeated Ei times, dimension of Wi times. Okay, and C2 repeated E2 times, etc. Ck repeated Ek times, where EI is a dimension of WI. Okay. Clear? Now, as B dash is also an ordered basis for W. B dash is also an ordered basis for W. Therefore, we can write alpha equal to, you can write this as some x1 alpha 1 plus x2 alpha 2 plus etc. plus xr alpha r. Okay. For each alpha belongs to W, alpha you can write like this because B dash is an ordered basis for W. Okay. And T alpha, what about T alpha? T alpha you can write as T of this one, and which is equal to x1 T alpha 1 etc. And this you can write like this. Okay. So this, what about Ti? Ti's are characteristic values from, and therefore it is from field. X1 T1 is also from field. Therefore T alpha is also a linear combination of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha, linear combination of elements of B dash. This implies T alpha belongs to W. This implies W is invariant under T. Okay. The first part is over. What about the first one? We have to prove the subspace spanned by all characteristic vectors of T is invariant under T. Okay. So we choose a basis and consider another basis, and all elements are like this, and choose some alpha belongs to V, alpha is of this form, then apply T. Okay. Now we have to prove the form of characteristic polynomial. Okay. Characteristic polynomial corresponding to the operator TW. For this, B dash is a basis for W, and we extend this basis as a basis for V, because the B dash is a basis means B dash is a linearly independent set, therefore we can extend this as a basis for V, and choose alpha r plus 1 etc. alpha n is a basis for V. Okay, alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. Alpha we are adding these elements so that this set become a basis for V. Okay, total number of elements is n because dimension we choose dimension of V as n. Now suppose T is a matrix of matrix related to basis B, and this of the form block form A equal to BC 0D. Okay, so as in the previous case, it is clear that B, what about the matrix B? B is the matrix induced by the linear operator TW in the ordered basis B dash. Clear? Hope it is clear. Okay, here we are choosing this B, and by our previous remark in the last class, this matrix of T related to B is of this form, and this is matrix of TW related to the basis B dash. Okay, so T alpha 1, what about T alpha 1? T alpha 1 is by definition, what is T alpha 1? By T alpha 1 is T1 alpha 1, and this is equal to T1 alpha 1 plus 0 alpha 2 plus etc. plus 0 alpha r. T alpha 2 is equal to T2 alpha 2. Okay, and this is equal to T2 alpha 2 plus 0, 0 alpha 1 plus T2 alpha 2 plus etc. Okay, and then what about B? B is of this form T1 0 0 etc. Here also 0 etc. 0 0 0 0 etc. TR. This is the matrix of TW in the in the ordered basis B dash. Okay. Therefore, characteristic polynomial for B is of this form. This is a diagonal matrix. Therefore, x minus T1, x minus T2, etc. What about the characteristic polynomial? Determinant xi minus. Okay. Therefore, this you can write as x minus T1, x minus T2, etc. x minus TR. But we know that these here T1, T2, etc. Is equal to T1, T2, etc. TR is equal to C1, C2, C1, C1, etc. C1, E1 times C2, C2, etc. C2, E2 times, etc. Okay, so this is actually same as x minus c1, x minus c1, etc. E1 times, then x minus c2, x minus c2, etc. E2 times, etc. x minus cn, sorry, x minus ck, etc. x minus ck, ek times. Okay, so if we multiply, we get x minus c1 e raised to e1 into x minus c2 raised to e2, etc. x minus ck raised to ek. Therefore, characteristic polynomial of TW is this one. Okay, where EI is equal to dimension of WI. Note that G divides F, where the F is the characteristic polynomial for T. Therefore, multiplicity of Ci as a root of F is at least dimension of Wi. Okay. Then there is one remark. If T is diagonalizable, if and only if R is equal to N. Okay. What about dimension? T diagonalizable means we have three equivalent condition. Dimension of V equal to dimension of W1 plus etc. plus dimension of W. Therefore, here E1 plus E2 plus etc. plus ER equal to dimension of V is N. Now moving to next important definition. T conductor of alpha into W. Okay. Now what is T conductor of alpha? Let W be an invariant subspace of T. Clear? W is an invariant subspace of T, and let alpha be a vector in V. Okay. Then T conductor of alpha into W denoted by ST alpha W. Okay. S suffix T alpha semicolon W. This consists of all polynomial G such that GT alpha is in W. Okay, such that GT means this is again an operator and alpha belongs to W. Then This collection of polynomial is called T conductor of alpha into W. Here, let W be an invariant subspace for T. Let alpha be a vector in V. Then T conductor of alpha into W is the set ST alpha W, which consists of all polynomial G such that GT alpha is in W. That is ST alpha W equal to set of all G such that GT alpha is in W. Clear? Now, if W is equal to set 0, what happens? Set of all G such that GT of alpha is equal to 0. Okay, because W is equal to set 0, that means set of all G such that GT alpha belongs to W means set of all G such that GT alpha equal to 0. Set of all polynomials P such that PT equal to 0 or PT of alpha equal to 0 means what? Okay, this is in this case ST alpha W equal to set of all G such that GT of alpha belongs to W. That means set of all G such that GT of alpha is equal to 0, and this set is called T annihilator of alpha, and this set is called T annihilator of alpha. Now we are going to prove one lemma. If W is an invariant subspace for T, if W is an invariant subspace for T, then W is invariant under every polynomial in T. Thus, for each alpha in V, the conductor ST alpha W is an ideal in the polynomial algebra f of x. Once again, here we are using the notation ST alpha W. Here we just skip T because here we are mentioning about only one operator T. Okay. Let W be an invariant subspace for T, and W is invariant under every polynomial in T. That is, for each alpha in V, the conductor alpha W is an ideal in the polynomial algebra f of x. What does that mean by an ideal? Ideal. If you take any f belongs to f of x and some g belongs to our s alpha w, we have to prove f g belongs to s alpha w. This is what we have to prove. Okay. Now moving to the proof. Given that w is invariant under t. So if beta is in w, then clearly t beta is in w. Beta belongs to W implies T beta belongs to W, and T beta belongs to W implies T beta belongs to W, that is T square beta belongs to W. Thus by induction we can write T raised to K belongs to V is in W for each K. Therefore f of T beta is in W for every polynomial f. Therefore, now what about S alpha W? ST alpha W is set of all f belongs to f of x such that f of t alpha belongs to W. This is our S alpha W. Okay, set of all f belongs to f of x such that f of t alpha belongs to W. Now given that W is a subspace of V. Okay. So you take some f comma g belongs to S alpha W and C belongs to F. Let alpha belongs to V, then ft alpha belongs to W because f belongs to S alpha W. Therefore ft of alpha belongs to W. Also gt of alpha belongs to W. Now what is Cf plus g of t alpha? By definition, this is equal to Cf of t plus g of t alpha. By definition, this is same as Cf of t plus gt alpha. Okay, and this is same as Cf of t alpha plus g of t alpha. Okay, and this is equal to C into f of t alpha plus g of t alpha. This term belongs to W, this term belongs to W. W is a subspace, therefore this term also belongs to W. Thus we get if you take any f comma g belongs to s alpha w, but we get cf plus g t alpha clearly belongs to W. C F plus G T alpha belongs to W. F belongs to S alpha mean SW means F of T alpha belongs to W. G of T alpha belongs, and here we get this one. This implies CF plus G belongs to S alpha W. Therefore, S alpha W is a subspace of F of X. S alpha W is a subspace of F of X. Now, as W is invariant, as W is an invariant subspace for T, T alpha belongs to W for each alpha belongs to W. And let G be any polynomial in S alpha W. Then what about beta? Beta equal to, if you consider G of T alpha is equal to some beta, then G of T alpha belongs to W by definition, because here we have G is any polynomial in S alpha W. That means G of T alpha belongs to W, and we are choosing beta as G of T alpha. Now we have to prove this is an ideal. To prove this, you take some F belongs to F of X and G belongs to our S alpha W, and we have to prove FG belongs to S alpha W. For this, what we have to prove? We have to prove FG T alpha belongs to W. This is what we have to prove. Now, what is f g of t? By definition, f g of t equal to f of t into g of t. So, f g of t of alpha equal to f of t into g of t alpha. That's equal to f of t into g of t alpha. But g of t alpha, we are taking this as beta, and also it belongs to W, and f of t beta. If some beta, if alpha belongs to W, then as f belongs to st alpha, f of t alpha belongs to W. Here beta belongs to W, therefore f of t beta belongs to W. Thus we get f of t, fg of t alpha belongs to W. And this is true for every alpha belongs to W. Okay, this implies Fg belongs to S alpha W. Thus we get, if you take any F belongs to F of X, any F belongs to F of X, and any G belongs to S alpha W, we get Fg belongs to S alpha W. This implies S alpha W is an ideal in F of X. Clear? As every non-zero ideal in f of x, this S alpha W is also an ideal in f of x. We know that every ideal in f of x is a principal ideal. Every non-zero ideal in f of x is a principal ideal. This ideal S alpha W is also a principal ideal. So it has a generator. The same as in our minimal polynomial, the unique monic generator of the ideal S alpha W is called the T conductor of alpha into W. There is two definition for T conductor of alpha. Here the definition is the unique monic generator of the ideal S alpha W is called T conductor of alpha into W. Okay, if W is equal to set 0, then the unique monic generator of the ideal S alpha W is called the T annihilator of alpha into W. T annihilator of alpha into W. Okay, clear? Now the next one, definition. The T conductor of alpha into W is the monic polynomial G of at least degree such that G of T alpha is in W, because it is the smallest polynomial, because this is the monic generator, therefore it is the smallest polynomial with satisfying the condition G of T alpha is in W, because G of T alpha, because this is the generator of S alpha W. But about S alpha W, set a fold polynomial G such that G of T alpha belongs to W. Okay, so a polynomial F is in SW, S alpha W, if and only if G divides F. Clear? Now moving to a important note. Suppose P is a minimal polynomial for T. Then what about P of t equal to 0? As P of t is an operator, P of t equal to 0 implies P of t alpha equal to 0 for every alpha belongs to V. Because P of t equal to 0 means P of t equal to 0 operator. That means P of t alpha means 0 alpha, which is equal to 0 for every alpha belongs to V. Since W is a subspace of V, 0 belongs to W. Therefore, P of t alpha belongs to W. Therefore, if P is a minimal polynomial for t, then P of t equal to 0 and P of t alpha equal to 0. This is also belongs to W. Therefore, P belongs to S alpha W. But we know that G is a generator of S alpha W. P belongs to S alpha W means G divides P. Okay. Hence, every T conductor divides the minimal polynomial for T. Because T conductor is the smallest polynomial that belongs to S alpha W, and every polynomial that belongs to S alpha W is always a multiple of G. That means G divides P, that is every T conductor divides the minimal polynomial for T. Okay, hope it is clear. In the next class, we will discuss about triangulable linear operator. Okay.